What is the maximum damage you can cause with $10 in your pocket? Buy a bag of fries. Take it to an outdoor subway/underground/whatever station. Slowly feed bits of the fries to pigeons. Amass several hundred pigeons in front of you, waiting for fries. When the next train comes, just before the doors close, hurl the entire bag of fries into the car so the pigeons follow it into the car, but the people don't have time to get out. Ideally do this just before a long section without any stops, followed by several underground stations. Repeat 15 times. Fries are cheap. You forgot. Soak fries in laxatives. Step. That cuts into your costs. Would you rather do this 15 times without laxatives, or 6 times with, assuming an amortized cost of 66 cents per packet of fries and $7 for a bottle of laxatives? Choices. Damage to others or to yourself? 'Cause you can buy Cat's movie ticket. You grab a pack of glitter for about $9.50 and stick a stamp on it. Then you send those sparkly bits off to some lab that keeps everything sterile and clean. You're the embodiment of evil. This plan could spark World War III. Better yet, you buy 10 stamps, grab a bit of flour, and send it all off to various government offices. They'd probably have to shut down for a while until they figure out it's just flour and not anthrax. This actually happened. My boyfriend used to work for the Australian tax office, and one time, exactly like you said, a letter showed up with some weird stuff inside. They shut the buildings down to check it out, and in the end, it turned out it was just flour. You grab $10 worth of those stink bombs and scatter them around a clothing store. Spend 5 on super glue. Use glue to secure the other 5 to the floor of a Walmart entrance. I knew a guy who welded a quarter on top of a nail, then nailed it into a wooden dock. You would reliably see 2 to 3 people try to get it each day. Buy a thing of ladybugs and release them into someone's house. Use the leftover cash to buy mint seeds and plant them in the same enemy's front lawn. They'll never get it all out. Crickets. They're way worse. They make noise and have a curious habit. They won't leave a dark place into a bright one, so the little bastards won't come out of their hiding spots until it is night time and the lights are off. Real fun in college dorms when you can't turn the lights off in the hallway. Release bag of crickets when everyone is asleep, and they'll immediately seek out the darkest area they can find, the crack under everyone's doors. Buy $10 worth of diesel and dump it in the next groundwater source. A few drops can ruin 1,000 L water. Buy a plastic traffic cone and leave it right in the middle of the busiest intersection. One time, it actually brought a 6-lane highway to a standstill for a few hours. My sister and I placed a box of cereal in the middle of an aisle at the grocery store. It caused a traffic jam affecting the other aisles. Nobody would pick it up and put it away. Everyone tried really hard not to hit it with their carts. It's hilarious to me how much people would rather go out of the way rather than fix an easy problem that'll affect others. One of the biggest things that gets under my skin is hearing, "That's not my job." I don't care if it is or isn't. If you have the chance to make the world a little better, and it takes less than 5 minutes, then for crying out loud, just do it. For example, I help people change tires when they're stuck on the side of the road. Why? Because it takes me less than 15 minutes, and if I don't help, that person could waste hours and spend hundreds of dollars. A sock filled with $10 in quarters could mess a few people up. In that case, it's better to use pennies instead of quarters. Find twin 3-year-old boys at Walmart, show them the money, and tell them whoever makes more people scream inside the store can have it. 1. Buy a dead fish. 2. Put fish in vent far from sight. 3. Wait. At my high school, Someone put a bag of frozen fish in a third-floor ceiling tile the last day before spring break. 2 weeks later, they had to close the entire third floor and replace the ceiling going 40 feet in every direction, and the floor under the original area, and the ceiling under that on floor 2. It smelled like rotting fish in that entire building for the rest of the year, and all classrooms had to have their windows open with fans running to have class. They did a deeper clean/deodorize over the summer, but for the next 2 years that I was there, the third floor still smelled strongly of fish. Break $10 into 1,000 pennies. Head up to the Empire State Building and let it rain. Better yet, do the same thing with ball bearings. Google says they can reach speeds up to 117 meters per second. It costs more than $10 to get to the top of the Empire State Building. Pouring caramel on someone's windshield. Back in high school, we actually did this to a bully, except we used honey instead of caramel. This guy was a real jerk, always messing with us. He'd let the air out of our tires, smear shaving gel on door handles, all that. We begged him to stop, but it was useless. So, we grabbed about 3 kilos of honey and spread it all over the windows of his car. And to make it even worse, we sprinkled a kilo of glitter on top. That was 10 or 12 years ago, but I'm pretty sure he still hasn't cleaned it off. Exchange the $10 for 1,000 pennies. Pay a $10 lunch in a super busy fast food restaurant with only pennies. This works everywhere, except in the US. Here, they just won't accept it, even though it's technically legal tender. Weird thing is, I've heard tons of stories that in the US, they can refuse you at any moment. I guess that's exactly why this rule exists. So no one tries to pay with a single penny. They don't have to accept it. But if you have already eaten lunch like at a restaurante, and all you have is the change, they will either accept it or eat the loss. Wait until you find an old Nokia phone on eBay for really cheap, and then you have the best weapon ever made. I once saw someone screaming at his girlfriend on a Nokia 6010. "If I see you with him again, I'm going to kill both of you." He promptly chucked the thing across the street and bounced it off a wall. He then calmly walked over to pick it up, and continued to yell at her, because the damn thing didn't even drop the phone call. Fill someone's exhaust with Expandafoam. Or just pour sugar into the gas tank. You can buy condoms for your buddy, then poke holes in them, and be responsible for another human's birth. Buy a dead rat, frozen from lab supply. Buy a single large ball jar. Buy a small bottle of hydrogen peroxide. Use the leftover $4 for alcohol, cause this is gonna get weird. Drop the rat in the jar, it has to fit, although you could trim it if feeling plucky. Add about 2-4 of peroxide, and then an equal amount of water. The jar should have at least half of its height and headspace, no liquid. Twist the lid on as tight as you can. You now have the most potent stink bomb you can imagine. As the peroxide breaks down the rat flesh, it will hyperputrefy, with the oxygen, to a point where the death stink will be increased to vomitous levels at 25 foot from detonation. Depending on ambient temp, the bottle will swell and explode between a few days and a week. Put it in someone's closet, under their bed, or couch, and they will likely have to sell their house, 'cause that stank ain't ever coming out. Grab a bottle of brake fluid, go into a luxury car showroom, and spray it on the hoods. Congratulations, the surface is ruined forever. Sounds like a great way to end up behind bars. Most showrooms are loaded with cameras, so all you'd really do is get yourself in trouble. Doesn't that pretty much apply to almost every comment in this thread? Why do people still think that just having cameras automatically catches criminals? If you fill up with $10 worth of tap water, you'd get at least a few dozen gallons, right? Then you head to the nearest hospital, pour half on the main power source and the other half on the backup. My tap water is approximate $0.003 per gallon, so ignoring service and sewer charges, that's over 3,000 gallons. That's gonna leave a mark. $10 jumbo bag of Jolly Ranchers. Lick each one and stick them everywhere on somebody's car. When they go to pull them off, they also pull off the paint. Bonus points if it is hot day and the candies melt. Just have to lick it off your car. Why waste perfectly good candy? Get $10 worth of crack. Go to the nearest crack house and offer all of it to the addict that can go wreck as much shit as possible in 2 hours. Break a 10 into coins and pour them into the fuel system of a rocket engine. You can buy a little gallium. The crazy part is that even a tiny amount can trigger a chemical reaction that eats through aluminum like popcorn in a movie theater. It's slow, but gallium mercilessly absorbs aluminum and seeps in pretty deep. To make a hole in a 1 centimeter thick aluminum sheet, it takes about 10 milliliters and 6 hours. If you're curious, just Google it. What's the point? Well, if your annoying stepdad is driving you nuts, literally 1 drop of gallium on the hood of his brand new sports car could ruin it faster than you could. Good luck, and don't forget your safety goggles. Buy a bag of nails and slowly scatter them across the highway. Buy condoms and cheap women's lingerie. Leave it under a guy's bed, and you just ruined a marriage. To yourself? 2 liters of really cheap vodka. That stuff's like paint stripper. To others? I don't know, you could get a decent kitchen knife, I guess. Couldn't you just buy $10 worth of actual paint thinner and drink that? Because paint thinner is yucky. Light it on fire, and use your burning $10 bill to start a bigger fire. I've heard Australians have a lot of experience with this kind of thing. Too soon, buddy, too soon. Why not buy some lighters and start a lot of fires? Lighters? Better to grab some free matches and buy 12 gallons of gas. Try spending your $10 on something that costs 15. Then spend that on something that costs 20, then 40. Keep going until you have enough money to start investing. Then buy a few businesses and build a monopoly. Make sure your companies operate under other companies you own, because somehow, legally, that doesn't count as a monopoly. Pay people minimum wage with minimal insurance, or none at all if you can. Make sure they stay late at work. Pollute the air, drinking water, rivers, lakes, and oceans. Use slave labor from third world countries. Now take all your endless wealth and build nuclear weapons. Detonate one somewhere in Jerusalem, and use all your influence to blame the Palestinians and Israelis. Start World War III. And while you're doing all this, don't forget to keep using plastic straws. Thank you so much for watching. In the comments under the video, write what kind of maximum damage you could do with just $10. Bye!